Okay, I've got a question for you. What do you call a person who asks other people to prove something we've known to be a fact for thousands of years, and then the person asking completely dismisses any of the proofs we provide? Will you call them a flat earther? Duh! It's so obvious when you think about it. Actually, it may be easier to just show you. Look.
So did they cite some scientific demonstration? Reference the popping the globe delusion video from, what was it, 4 days ago, last week? I pinned the comment asking for globe scientific demonstration, and unfortunately for the globe side, I see lots of friendly, familiar faces in here. Nice to see everyone. Caught up with all these comments, but most of them, what we're not seeing, any scientific demonstrations whatsoever.
Yeah, sorry everyone, it's Level Earth Observer again, my pal Slinky. But he's the gift that keeps on giving.
The globe side have not cited one single scientific demonstration that refutes me, that backs or what backs the globe claims. There's none.
Now, I've been through the comment section on this video, and to be fair, he's right. There is not a single comment offering any sort of scientific explanation as to how we can demonstrate that the Earth is indeed a globe. But I have a theory, which we will get to in just a minute.
Even the globe believers now are showing you how absurd the globe is. Alright, they're not saying it out loud, but their actions, a non-citation of any kind of real science, kind of prove and show how silly it is. It should be obvious at this point in time.
Do you want to know what else is obvious, Slinky? Or at least it should be by now. Nobody takes you seriously. Nobody actually cares that you choose to deny what is so obvious to the rest of humanity. And people like me, you know, the people that earn a living from laughing at your stupid theories, know that whatever we say, you'll just dismiss anyway. But people seem to really enjoy watching me pointing and laughing at you. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to provide you with 7 different ways we can demonstrate that the Earth is a globe. Please subscribe.
No man or woman in their right mind would give up scientific demonstrations in favour of something that doesn't have scientific demonstrations, just a story or a cartoon. You're never going to do that. It's silly and totally unscientific.
Number 1. Watch a ship sail off to sea. Without being in the sky, it's impossible to actually see the curvature of the Earth. But that doesn't mean it's not possible to demonstrate it before you say anything down in the comments. However, you can always see a demonstration of this if you visit a harbour or any place with a wide open view of the water. If you're able to watch a ship sail off to sea, watch its mast and flags as they fade off into the distance. You'll notice that, in fact, it doesn't do that at all. Instead, you will see the mast and flag slowly sink. The ship sailed beyond the point at which you could see it. Just to be sure, bring a pair of binoculars with you so that you can see even farther off into the distance. It's as if you're watching it go over the other side of a hill. Weird, I know. This phenomenon can only be explained by a spherically shaped Earth.
As you can see, we didn't get one single scientific demonstration in the comment section. Not one. Because there are none. Because the globe's scientifically impossible.
Yeah, sure it is. But I and many others are still wondering when exactly you're gonna demonstrate that the Earth is flat. You've been saying it for a very long time, but we are yet to see you demonstrate anything other than a complete lack of understanding of what a scientific demonstration is.
I hope this is starting to register now for the people perhaps watching this on the fence, or even globe believers. Surely your non-citation of any kind of science should concern you.
Well, I'm watching on a computer screen. I didn't know my fence could do anything other than keep people out of my garden. But anyway, let's have another proof, shall we? Number 2, watch a lunar eclipse. If you're able to catch a glimpse of a lunar eclipse, you can see evidence that Earth is indeed a globe. Here's how it works. Earth passes between the moon and the sun so that the sun projects Earth's shadow onto the moon in the night sky. You've probably seen a partial lunar eclipse without even noticing it. If the moon looks a little bit orange, that's a sign of a lunar eclipse. If you've ever seen a total lunar eclipse, you probably noticed that the shadow didn't look like this. And that's because the Earth isn't flat.
The issue with you real, genuine globe believers lies within your head, your heart, and your stomach. You have to address these feelings you get, this tightening up, this ego pantomime. You have to address these things.
Now, proof of anything, in my humble opinion, should be evidence-based. And what I mean by that is, I'm showing you 7 different ways we can see that the Earth is a globe, knowing full well that you aren't going to accept any of them. So who's really in denial here? The people watching this that have the capacity to look at the evidence and evaluate it, and then accept it? Or the people that ask for evidence on a public platform like YouTube, knowing that their own bias is going to make it impossible for them to accept it?
Able to overcome this mainstream spellcraft that seems to be affecting most of the population at the moment has them in a state of bewilderment.
Hang on, while we're on the topic of bewilderment, here's another way you can demonstrate that the Earth is a globe. Number 3, climb a tree. Now try and imagine a vast plain with just one tree smack in the middle of it. If the Earth were flat, your vision would extend exactly as far while standing at the base of the tree as it would when you were at the top of the tree. However, the farther you climb, the farther your line of sight will extend to the horizon. That's because parts of the Earth were concealed from view by its curvature and now revealed because your position has changed.
Shouldn't be difficult when someone like myself, who simply stands by the things that can be tested and verified by all, the results of which prove the globe is impossible.
Well, this is fun. Number 4, circumnavigation. So if you can do that, Slinky, why don't you? Like Ferdinand Magellan did when he circumnavigated the Earth. And what that means is he left heading west, continued going west, and he ended up back where he started. How exactly would that work on a flat Earth?
Remember, I'm hated online for simply standing by the things that can be tested and verified by all.
Right, so I can only speak for myself, obviously, when I say I don't hate you. You're not important enough for me to hate. Do I think you're wrong? Absolutely. It's clear to anyone who is unfortunate enough to come across your videos in which you constantly say that the Earth can be tested and verified by all. So I'll ask you again, why have you never done it? Demonstrated that the Earth is flat, I mean.
But what you gotta realise, lads, I'm not the one who told you you live on a rock with an air pressure system wrapped around it, residing in the middle of a vacuum.
Number 5, measure shadows across the country. Pick 2 locations that are some distance apart, at least a couple of 100 miles from each other, but on the same meridian. Grab 2 sticks of equal length, 2 tape measures, and a friend. Right, this may be not that practical for a basement-dwelling flat earth troll. But anyway, each of you will take 1 stick and 1 tape measure to your location, stick the stick into the ground, and measure the shadow. And for accuracy, you should both take measurements at the same time of the day. On a flat earth, the shadow that is cast by each stick would be the same length. However, if you and your friend compare notes, you'll find that one of the shadows was longer than the other. That's because due to the curvature of the Earth, the sun will hit one part at one angle and another part at a different angle at the same time. Amazing.
So clearly, the globe is scientifically impossible. To answer all the questions regarding the realm we find ourselves in, we need to fully explore it. To understand a machine and its moving parts, you'd need to fully explore that machine. Fully explore it. Then you'd have a better understanding.
Now, I know this may be splitting hairs, of which I have none, but technically nobody has. The reason we understand so much about the Earth, and in particular its shape, is because every single scientific experiment that was ever done to demonstrate the shape of the Earth has always had the same result. And that result is that the Earth is a globe tilted on its axis to 23.4 degrees and is an oblate spheroid, flattened at the poles and bulged in the centre. Let's do number 6. Take a flight from Buenos Aires to Perth, otherwise known as taking 747 pilot Casey from the channel 74 Gear up on his offer to fly with flat earthers on a flight that they say is impossible because the Earth is flat. I wonder how that Kickstarter campaign's going. I mean, a $1.5 million challenge to prove the Earth is flat, given the number of people that claim to believe that Earth is flat, should be a dawdle. Oh, $23,788. It's not going that well then. I would have thought that flat earthers would have been literally throwing money at this, given that if they are right, this would be the final nail in the coffin for us stupid globe believers.
I stand by the things that are simply true in the short term, but in the long term I call for full exploration to answer all the questions. and to fill in the gaps.
And we have for thousands of years, which is why we know so much about Earth. Let's do number 7. The moon appears upside down if viewed from Australia. Now, why does the moon look upside down from Australia? It's because we're on a spherical planet. If I stand at the North Pole with my head upwards and get one of my friends to stand at the South Pole with their head upwards, relative to the ground, our heads are pointed in exactly opposite directions, and we will be seeing two different views of the moon. And it's not just that the moon is prone to change in orientation. All of the stars you can see will be either different or upside down too. The view of the moon we see in the southern hemisphere is rotated by 180 degrees compared to the view people in the northern hemisphere see. How would that work on a flat Earth?
We know the globe's scientifically impossible. That's long gone. We've moved right on now to full exploration, maps from full exploration, and exploring this place from top to tail as far as we can go.
Yeah, sorry Slinky, I hate to break it to you, but that ship's already sailed past. In fact, that's exactly what we have been doing for a very long time. The fact that you and every other flat earth moron chooses to dismiss it shows us a couple of things. Either you know exactly what shape the earth is, but for some bizarre reason you thought it would be a good idea to go the complete opposite of what every scientific demonstration shows us, or you can't understand the science that demonstrates the true shape of the earth and fill in the blanks yourself, which technically isn't your fault, or you're a liar who's in it for the attention. But whichever one of those things it is, and I can promise you it's one of them, you're wrong. And until you or any other flat earther can provide a single shred of evidence to back up the nonsense that you believe, I would recommend that you shut the
So it's all about full exploration now. Globe believers, no offence lads, you've had more than ample opportunity to shine. All you needed to do to shine was be honest. It's not about being right or wrong. It's about being honest, being truthful, and being honourable. You can't do any of those things because you've got no science, and as a result, the character traits that have to come out to entertain the globe aren't very pleasant.
Well, Slinky, me old pal, I'm afraid you were clearly none of those things. So let's see your reply to this video. And I must insist that you refrain from using the words pantomime and demonstrable, if you can. And to everybody watching this now wondering why I've started calling him Slinky instead of Leo, well, it's really quite simple. It's because every time I see one of his ridiculous videos, I want to throw him down the stairs. Thanks for watching, everybody. Love you, bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.